to be here tonight. On my way over here, I was thinking about how it would be funny if I brought notes out on stage. But then I realized that I think Ellen already did that. And so I thought maybe I should think twice about that bit. So that kind of threw my game off a little bit. But then I thought, just do what you were gonna do. You know, just do it. Just don't worry about that. Whatever. You love Ellen. She's funny. She's great. But you don't have to be her. You know? You can just like, be yourself. Be yourself. Ow! So, yeah. So like, you know, I was thinking when I was getting ready, I was thinking about like how I started to wear makeup in elementary school, and I thought, wow, that seems young. That seems really young to be wearing makeup. And that made me think about girls and what it was like to be a girl, to suddenly have this bag of power to be pretty, to make yourself look older, to make yourself more desirable in the eyes of both men and women. That's the thing that's crazy. It's crazy. But that's life for you. That's life. It's life. Sometimes I'm like, my God, it's life. And then other times I'm like, it's only life. So what, you know? So yeah, these were the little, you know, the little funny thoughts in my head that I think sometimes that I like to come out on stage and share with you, the audience. I feel kind of nervous, and I feel like you can tell. Can you tell I'm nervous? Can you tell? Huh? Oh, I know you're kind. So yeah, so I was thinking about, you know, how it's hard. It's hard being a girl. It's very hard. And thinking about makeup made me think about how I started wearing makeup in the fourth grade. And in the fourth grade, I moved to my dad's house. My dads, they're funny, huh? So I moved to my dad's house, and well, let's just say my mom was having a little trouble raising us. Just a little trouble. So I moved to my dad's and I started a new school. And when we moved to my dad's house, they bought us some new clothes. You know, I'd been wearing my sister's clothes. You know, hand-me-down. I wore hand-me-downs. And so I was a little rough around the edges. You see. And so when I got new clothes, it felt very different. It felt like what my sister probably felt like when she got her new clothes. And so I liked it because I gotta be honest with you, I felt more normal. That's how I felt. I felt like I could really fit in, and that felt good because I was starting a new school. Starting a new school's hard. And so I started this school and I got a new friend. My new friend was the prettiest girl in the whole class. She was so pretty, and she was black. She was the only black girl in the class. And at my mom's house, my childhood friend had always been a black girl. I was friends with the black girl. And I didn't really think about her being black. I knew she was black, and I knew that some people thought that black people were bad, like my grandma, but I didn't really believe that because I liked her, and I liked her mom, and I liked her brother, and they were really nice to me. And so was her whole family. They were all really nice to me. And so it didn't make sense why my grandma didn't like black people. So I just wrote it off as her being a little out of touch and simple. So that's how I summed it up. So when I started this new school, I became friends with the girl who was the blackest girl in the room, but was the whitest girl out of all the other black girls. And so she was ostracized from that group of people. And I was an outsider because I just moved there. So we became fast friends. And in this process, I had a boy like me. It was unbelievable. I liked boys. I would chase boys and I would kiss boys and I would play kissing catchers. I loved boys. And so to have a boy like me, I felt very special suddenly because I never had that before. The boys always seemed to like my sister. My sister. All the boys liked my sister. Not me. But this boy liked me. And unfortunately, there was a big black girl that liked him and didn't like my other friend. And so I was fucked. And I got beat up in the cafeteria. Talk about embarrassing! I got beat up in the cafeteria, trays flying through the air, punched in the face. I had never been punched in the face. I had slapped a few people and my sister had slapped me, but I had never been punched in the face. It hurt and it was scary and it was very humiliating. But that's not even the bad part. Or the funny part, I mean. Anyway, so I get called into the office. Talk about being scared. And I talk to the person who talks to my parents, and we suddenly have a reason for why this happened to me. And it was because of my friend. And do you know why this became the story? Because my 4th grade teacher, my 4th grade teacher told my parents that was trouble. Because see, it was very beautiful. And she was black, the only black girl in the class. And she was a Jehovah's Witness. And she had a lot of money. And she wore very nice clothes. And she was not afraid of Miss at all. But she wasn't rude in any way, at least not in my eyes. And so Mrs. declared that it was my friend, my only friend, might I add, who was the reason for all the trouble. That, and I wore stirrup pants. The very stirrup pants that my parents bought me. That made me feel normal. Talk about a mind fuck. Mind fuck. I felt mind fucked. That's right. So, funny thing is, that is also not the worst part or the funniest part. After it was declared the reasons why and I had been dealt with, my teacher, Mrs. takes me out into the hallway, down the stairwell, into a quiet, private area of the school building, and tells me to grab my knees. Or maybe my ankles. Yeah, it was my ankles. And she's an adult. She's an adult, so I grab my ankles and she walks around me with a cardboard tube of all things and starts to spank me on my little fourth grader bottom. I felt very confused, to be quite honest. I didn't quite feel molested until I was 30. But let's just say I had had worse spankings. This was not corporal punishment. And I told my parents, and I don't think they really understood what had just happened. But they were new to this whole parenting thing, so who can blame them, right? So there you have it. It's hard. It's hard being a girl. It's hard. Oh, and by the way, I don't really do punchlines. I hope that's okay. Let's cut out the melodrama so we can wake up the whole wide world. Let's make up and start all over and awaken the boys and the girls.